Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by Eclipse on my YouTube channel. And the last video I showed you how you can create the psychedelic zaps sequence, and I put that preset on my blog page for a download. So if you downloaded it, I just wanna show you how you can customize it. Basically, my advice is always when you get a preset, the best way to use the presets is that you always customize them a little bit. That way you will be able to use the same preset when you are in your creative mood and when you want to print out some of the things really fast and that you want to save yourself a time in order to do more as possible in that moment. So for me, developing a skill to customize the presets is something that's really important for making the music, because you can spend some amount of time in creating the presets you want, especially those sequences. They require a little bit more of modulations, and it can be kind of a complicated process because you can customize too many things and you can connect all different things one to another. So I'm just gonna play to you. I'm just gonna load this preset, the zaps. So those zaps. So from this preset, how you can make something to sound like this. And all together with the template. So basically it is some kind of psychedelic sequence, and they are pretty popular in the last few years. So I just want to go through the things. So basically I kept everything from the preset below from these zaps. Only what I did, I reduced this LFO2, which was the pitch. Basically what I did, I kept it, but what I did, it was like this. And then this dot I connected, also modulate curve, I connected it to the, I believe, Chaos 1. So let me just check Chaos 1. Yeah, so this dot is basically moving. And it is customizing the pitch, basically the curve of the pitch. And because it's on 1/16, this curve will change a lot how it sounds, the whole preset, because this curve, basically this point over here, how much is it? If it is like this, then it will pitch it much faster, and if it is like this, then it will pitch it much less faster. And because everything is happening on 1/16, that means this process is really different from if you choose this position or this position. It will change the sound of it much more. So this was the first thing I just reduced because I wanted to sound. But if I turn on the processing over here that I added, I just added the Saturn 2 on broken tube algorithm, which I like a lot. Basically, when we are creating all these sequences on SNH, basically on the random LFOs with an SNH, that way we are having a lot of movement, and especially when with the resonance up, that means that while cutoff is moving, that peaks will be moving left and right, and they are not that much controllable. I already had this FAV filter MB, but just in a case I wanted to add a bit of distortion, because what distortion will do when you have a peak, it will just cut those peaks. Basically it will make them a bit less, and that way the value of this, when you are looking into the frequency spectrum, we have this kind of a normal field, and then by pulling the resonance up in some position, and when its cutoff is moving, it will create much bigger peaks that will move left and right. And by applying the distortion, basically you're reducing those peaks, and the main idea is this normal line with those peaks to make a less difference from those things, and it is much easier to mix later on. This is why I love always to put on those sequences some kind of a distortion that will burn out those peaks. That was the first thing. The second thing I changed the oscillators over here. Basically, from what I had, I was just going next until I found the results that I like. Filter I chose from Flanges Combi Minus, and what I did here, doesn't work, but for some other filters it will work. Basically, I attached this, it's called variable on the filter, because from depending which filter it is, this value is changing. Now is high pass frequency, and if we go to matrix, we can see that Chaos 2 is connected to this filter variable. Actually, it's called var, but I believe it's variable. I'm not sure how should I spell it. And next thing what I did, because again I tried to use unisons over here, but again I found that one voice is enough. And then when I'm using one voice, this plugin from Waves is amazing. It's called Double 4. What it does, it's taking the original signal, it duplicates it to 4 more voices, and for each of those voices we need to modulate them a little bit so we don't get some kind of phase cancellation or phase problems in our sound. So basically, the first voice, you have here the pan, how much you gonna push it on, or in stereo field, will you push it totally on left or totally on right. Then a delay, it will take that original signal, duplicate it, and it will move its latency. It will create a bit of latency just to not be the same waveform in the 2 channels, as that way we are getting the phasing problem. And then you have a detune, so it will also slightly change the pitch of that voice, and that way it's gonna make it to be different than original. And then it does the same thing for all other 3 voices, and basically it's like from one voice you're getting 4 different voices. And then with the gain, you are mixing how much of that signal you want to put inside the mix. So we are getting a little bit kind of a unison effect. And then this plugin I love a lot. Basically, FabFilter Timeless, when we comparing, it's kind of unique sounding, and I use it a lot. I don't use it for every sequences, but it's really amazing as some functions that it have. I didn't find any other plugin that do the same thing. Basically delay, but differently combined all these functionalities, and delay with an LFOs is just crazy how much of things you can do with that. What you can create with LFOs. So basically I have here the pan. Basically I'm modulating the pan on this one, but I'm gonna turn that off right now, because when I use only one channel for a delay, when I don't want to use 2 different delays, then I lock this one up, and then I just put this pan on left and right, and I create like a ping pong effect on a one delay just to be stereo. But for this I used both of delays, and as you can see I turn off the sync, so basically on milliseconds. And what I did, I connected the second LFO which is synced on 1/2, but I created 4 steps, and for each of those steps I set to be random. You do that by clicking the random, clicking on this step and then random. And I connected this LFO to the time of a delay. So basically it will change the time all the time. And I did the same thing for another. I just set this one to 19 milliseconds and the second one to 20.5 milliseconds. And what I did here, to be honest, I cannot remember. Yeah, I believe that I set to the cross feedback. So basically it will change the feedback also on the LFO. And I'll just... It creates this glitchy effect, which is really, really nice. And after that, I put the LFO tool just to make, because of this changing the feedback, I want every note to be shorter. And then I set like the gating effect, just to make it a little bit more gaty. And then RC48, it's a reverb from Softtube, but it comes in Native Instruments package. And RC48 and RC42 24 are amazing plugins, and they are the best ones to use for a melodies. They are not that big. Black Hole is amazing, but Black Hole is kind of a big reverb. And RC48 and RC24 are my favorite as a kind of a smaller reverbs. When you just want to do the depth of the mix, it's more for a mixing, while Black Hole I use mostly for a sound design. And I hope that I will explain this much more in details. As reverbs, you can use it for a sound design when you are designing the sounds. That I use a lot for building the single shots. In that moment, for single shots, I'm putting only those big reverbs, which is EOS from Audio Damage and Black Hole from Eventide. And this is the sound design part. While for all the other parts, for example, if you want to put on hi-hats and so on, I don't use any reverb on the hi-hats, and I will cover probably that topic as well once. But like for melodies, for leads, for small melodies or something that does not, when I don't want to have this like big place of reverb, in that moment I'm using those two reverbs, and I believe they are really nice, and the interface is pretty good. So basically I can recommend those two. And then on the end, I'm now using it just as a delay, the Timeless 2, where I just lock it to 0.75, and here is like 1/2. So basically it's 3/16 the delay. And then as you can see, I locked the second one and I set this one pan to middle, and then I just connect like this. I connect the LFO, which will, everything on wet, it will move left and right. And also I turn on the filters, and I forgot to say in this one the filters are turned off because I didn't want to use them for this effect. So for this preset, I will put as well on my blog page, and you will be able to download it, but I would advise you to try to do the same thing by your own, as the practice is the best way to learn. And when you understand the synthesis and how it works, when you have this complete picture. It is an amazing tool to create an amazing results. Also, I didn't go through, but you could also, I set the sub oscillator on. The level is on 0, that means it won't be heard, but I'm gonna use that one for FM modulation on oscillator A and oscillator B, if you want. And also I forgot to mention that LFO1 here is really short. Basically it's on 1/16. This is the trigger, but as you can see it's a half of 1/16 and really slow. Why is that? Because otherwise, because all of the delays and all the feedbacks we have, if I put it to be longer, it's gonna be just messy. Basically we just need a small one. So if I turn off this over here, and if I turn on the delay over here, and then if I turn on just this processing, and now after you finish the sequence like this, maybe you can turn off this delay over here, this one, then you can bounce, and then you can sample only the parts that you really like. So let me just do this quickly, because you don't need to leave the whole sequences, but you can borrow like only, you can choose the moments where the manipulation of everything I created sounds pretty good. Let's say over here. This one here I like. So let's say this one also, and this one as well. So let's say you want this one, then you can just drop it into the another channel, and then you can just set up the, let's say, black hole, and let's say dub station 2. And then you can chop on every 2 bars, you can set one. Maybe like this. Not this one, but basically you can go through all of those manipulations, those modulations, sorry. This one is nice. Maybe from here. Over here, no, it's through here. Maybe this one. Yeah, something like this. And then you can copy that one into the next. And then just make it shorter for one. So let's hear it in the mix. Or you can manipulate with them as you want. So that was it for today. And if you like my videos and you would like to support this channel, you can go on my website www.eclipmusic.com, and then you will see in the menu support YouTube channel, where you can subscribe for €5 every month. as I turn off the ads, and from the next videos you will see why I turn off the ads, because with monetizing YouTube channel I cannot play anything from other people's music. So basically I had a lot of requests to recreate some other artists, kick, bass or whatever, leads, melodies, but if I play that on my YouTube channel I won't be able to monetize it, and it's kind of limiting and it's also disturbing and annoying. So I decided to leave my channel without any ads, and from that reason, if you want to support it and if you are in a position to support it with €5, just go or click on the link below and you can subscribe for a support. Thank you very much. And also you will have a link below for my blog, where is the link for which says full blog, and then you can go on my blog page where you'll be able to download this preset. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.